All right, guys. Well, what's going on, everyone? It's been a little while, so I wanted to make a video here, give a couple updates on the channel just so you guys know what I'm working on. And I had to, I wanted to do my part and spread the word about No King's Day 2. That's coming up pretty soon here, and cover a couple things. So I've got a few things to discuss with you guys, and if we can make it through that, I promise to do a reaction for you at the end of this video of one of the most pathetic MAGA incel lolcows that the internet has ever given us. So to start it off, guys, like with the channel, I'm just currently working on a video essay series that's taking a little while, taking a lot longer than I thought, but I'm pretty excited to show you guys what's coming up. Maybe I'll edit in like the little first like minute or two of the first one for you here. It's going to be on like Charlie Kirk and mostly the fascist reaction to Charlie Kirk's murder in trying to take away our First Amendment rights.
I think what some of those guys did to Donald Trump to use the instruments of government to destroy the constitutional order, that should be under consideration. Yeah, that's how you should. By the way, this is my other problem with death penalty. It takes too long, too many appeals. Expensive. It should be public. It should be quick. It should be televised.
And I agree. It should be public and televised. Public square.
By the way, you could fund the government
to watch it.
Could have like brought to you by Coca-Cola. I want to watch that execution. That'll make my day better. I want to see him on a public block and get him be publicly executed.
The controversial right-wing activist and Christian nationalist Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th, 2025. In this video, we will examine the assassination and the immediate aftermath, the impact that it had on the country, and what my thoughts on the events are. We are also going to cover who Charlie Kirk was, his legacy, what his politics actually were, and address several of the arguments that he made. This is going to be both an analysis on Charlie Kirk and his body of work, as well as a look at the overall implications of living in a society of mass shootings, political assassinations, and authoritarian violence. So that's coming. It's just a long process. That'll probably be out in a couple weeks. But first, but what I really want to talk to you guys about today is No King's Day. There's going to be another mass protest movement on Saturday, October 18th, all over the country, in Canada, in Europe. So you guys can all participate. I really want to encourage people to get out in the street. We've seen abuse after abuse after abuse, authoritarian crackdown after authoritarian crackdown. People have been murdered by ICE in the streets. Children have been handcuffed naked in the middle of the street in the night. We've had a lot of crazy human rights abuses. And even more than that, we've had a lot of abuses towards the First Amendment. Since the last time I made a video, a lot has happened. It seems like a year's worth of shit. Most recently we had the Jimmy Kimmel thing happen, which luckily, we were able to rally around that and get him back on the air. I do think that it's kind of a positive sign that now they're not able to just pressure people into doing whatever they want. And there is serious pushback and people are waking up. With these protests on Saturday, the 18th, I really want to make sure, do my part as much as I can so that they're as big, at least as they were last time. On the last No King's Day, we set a record for the biggest number of people to ever partake during a single protest in the history of the country. And we need to show the fascists, and we need to show the rest of the world too, not just our enemies, but our allies, or the allies that we've betrayed in the last year, that we're not Trump. We don't support Trump. We fucking hate what they're doing to this country. And what's happening is not supported by the people here. So to get into it, we're going to watch a couple of news updates here on Trump talking about ICE and talking about his plans and what he's doing. Right now, there's currently military campaigns against Portland and Chicago, namely, are the big ones. You guys know that there's a lot going on in LA. He's threatening to send troops into San Francisco. Also, there were the Washington, D.C. Marches, Chicago and Portland, though, seem to be right now the two front lines where this new fascist authoritarian tactic of just shooting at protesters, gassing protesters, rounding up American citizens. It's escalating to such an extreme level. And I'm sure all of you saw or saw the news at least of the military rally that they did, where Pete Hegseth called all the generals fat and bearded and shit or whatever, and then Trump gets up there and he says we're gonna start using American cities as training grounds for the military. Completely authoritarian, completely fascist. The man is in desperate need of a tracheotomy. I think he's sounding kind of hoarse. I don't know. Maybe he's got a throat cancer or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's completely unacceptable, and something will be done about it. We're going to do our part, all of us, me, everyone listening, to make sure that we're in the streets, we're making our voices heard, and we're fighting back however we can. So let's get into it.
President, according to your plan.
And of course, this is Alchemist Soil, so we'll be watching it on time and a half. I'll put captions on too for you guys.
We'll see how it turns out, but I'm hearing it's going very well.
President, are you open to extending Affordable Care Act subsidies?
We want.
This is relevant to the shutdown. They're asking him if he. I'm sure everyone's aware of the government shutdown we're currently living through. They're asking him, are you going to extend the ACA subsidies, which are the ask from Democrats in order for them to vote on the funding bill?
To fix it so it works. It's not working. Obamacare has been a disaster for the people, so we want to have it fixed so it works.
All right, so they're asking about Portland now. So this is the part that's relevant to us here.
Look at that. It was amazing. Portland is burning to the ground. It's insurrectionists all over the place. It's Antifa.
Portland is burning to the ground. Just to be clear, guys, I'm sure you all know the violence has been almost entirely from ICE and from federal forces against peaceful protesters. Nothing's been burned to the ground except for judges that the houses of judges that Trump puts on his hit list, I guess. That's been burned to the ground, but no, the protesters have not burned anything to the ground.
And yet the politicians who are petrified. Look, the politicians are afraid for their lives. That's the only reason that they say, like, there's nothing happening. And you've seen it. The place is burning down, and they pretend like there's nothing happening. So we'll take a look at the order. We haven't seen the order yet.
Yeah, the judge, we covered this a little while ago, but the judge, fucked him over, basically said, you can't call the National Guard into Portland. So he said, fuck you guys, I'm going to bring them in from California then. And then Gavin Newsom sued him for that. Also, just to catch you guys up, so you'll remember the first time that Trump deployed the National Guard in California, Gavin Newsom sued him. And in September, we won that lawsuit. So, months later, they ruled in our favor, and now the same thing is happening again. We'll see what happens here. But yeah, right now Trump is being blocked from sending troops into Portland. Let's see.
The Navy is deployed in the...
He doesn't follow the law anyway. So here, the Navy is deployed in the Caribbean against the cartels. Oh God. So just dystopian thing after dystopian thing. I guess that's all we're going to get on Portland. So we'll skip the rest of this video, but, they're asking him about the executions, the illegal murder that Pete Hegseth has been doing to random boats in the Caribbean. All right. Trump floats invoking the Insurrection Act, guys. So this is important. And again, this is why it's so important to be in the streets. Hit the fucking streets October 18th. This is why. The 1807 law, which allows the military to conduct civilian law enforcement activities under certain circumstances, hasn't been used since the 1992 Los Angeles riots.
Protesters clashing in Chicago and Portland, Oregon. President Trump now says he would consider invoking the Insurrection Act to send the military into those cities if the courts block his deployment of National Guard troops.
We have an Insurrection Act for a reason. I do that. If people were being
yeah, and unfortunately, well, never mind.
Killed and courts were holding us up, or governors or mayors were holding us up.
That federal law that dates back to 1806.
Yeah, it just sounds like he's getting throat cancer or something, right? Right? You guys hear that? I just feel like, get us out of here.
Emergency powers to deploy the military to suppress what he deems as a rebellion or civil unrest. Illinois and its Democratic Governor J.B. Pritzker is suing to block Trump's plan to send roughly 200 troops to Chicago, the governor calling it an unconstitutional invasion. But a federal judge has, at least for now, declined to stop that deployment.
What Donald Trump, I believe, is trying to do, incite it so they can bring more troops in, invoke the Insurrection Act, and militarize Chicago and other major cities.
The president has also attacked Portland.
My biggest fear for this, guys, is that, like, not only is this going to continue, it's going to get a lot worse. We're going to see more people being slaughtered by ICE. We're going to see the military use guns against civilians, use lethal force. But I'm really worried this is going to be used. We're going to have military suppression of our elections. And we're going to talk a little bit about the elections after we get through this. But yeah, so we need to stop this now. We need to be active now. We need to make our voices heard now. Now is the time for you to exercise your First Amendment right and to defend it. Now. Not a year from now, not a month from now. Now.
A burning hellhole that he claims has been overtaken by left-wing domestic terrorists.
Portland is on fire. Portland's been on fire for years.
Portland's been on fire for years. It's been nonstop burning. You hear that, guys? Like, who even believes this shit, right? Like, who could even hear that and think like, oh, yeah, that tracks for sure.
The Democratic-led city a day after a federal judge, a Trump nominee, blocked him from sending National Guard.
So to answer the chat here. Okay, so knocked Agent Cooper. Right now I'm recording a video. You guys are still free to chat and I'll still respond to you guys, but just a heads up, I am recording right now, and when only for a little bit, and then we'll get back to the normal shit. But just to give you guys, so with sending the Texas National Guard, I'm not sure, but when Trump tried to send the California National Guard to Portland, the same judge said, no, obviously that is still a violation of my order. But I don't know. It seems like in Chicago, it's being allowed.
Our troops there.
I think that's all insurrection. I really think that's...
Says the insurrectionist. Let's just take a minute, guys, to remember what Trump is. He's an insurrectionist. He's a fascist. He's a felon. He was found civilly liable for sexually assault, and he was best friends with a child rapist sex trafficker for 10 years. That's who he is. He's a failed businessman. He's a con man. He's a liar. He cheats everyone. He destroyed the economy because of his ego. He's probably the biggest failure to ever exist. One of the worst people to ever exist. And it's a profound indictment of this country this is the person so many of us decided to put at the head of things.
Really criminal insurrection.
Local authorities are forcefully pushing back, saying the chaos is confined to a single downtown city block.
In America, that we don't put the military on our streets unless it's extreme circumstances like an invasion or rebellion. And those things, they just don't exist right now in Oregon.
Just last week, President Trump urged America's top generals to use some of those cities as training grounds for the U.S. military. And as a candidate...
And I know since this is for the channel, all of you are gonna, all of you are, you're gonna know. Oh, this is what no confidence looks like. Okay, when you withhold your vote, this is what happens. This is what the no confidence vote looks like in action. All right. Actually, Trump is that bad. Actually, Trump is that much worse. This is what downplaying the differences between Kamala and Trump look like. In real life, this is what it actually looks like.
It flirted with invoking the Insurrection Act to suppress unrest. Some Republican leaders are already embracing the president's efforts. Overnight, Texas's Governor Greg Abbott posted this picture of National Guardsmen from his state heading off to other states like Oregon and Illinois to support the president's crackdown. If President Trump moves forward with the Insurrection Act, those National Guard would be granted the same law enforcement powers as local police.
Yeah, complete militarization of this country. that one's for Anna Kasparian. You guys remember in the first Anna video I did on this channel, there was a point where she says Trump isn't a fascist. And the reason he's not a fascist is because he doesn't militarize the country. He doesn't use the military against the citizens. That was one of the things, not that is the requirement for being a fascist. That's, but even in that extreme example of authoritarianism, he's done that too. So he's through and through a fascist. Grifters are dishonest, or they would have warned you about this, because this was in Project 2025. This is what we've been warning about. This is what Trump told us he was going to do for years.
Greg.
Peter Alexander from the White House. Peter, thank you.
So, yeah, we don't need to go over the whole article. You guys heard most of it there. He's continuing to ramp up, continuing the invasion. Protest against Trump in Chicago. So this is just a little update on what's going on in Chicago.
Ahead of the expected arrival of federalized National Guard troops in Chicago.
Let's see, this is
just plain federal agents in
from
Chicago.
yesterday.
From ICE,
or from very
CBP,
early
from the
today,
FBI,
I guess.
From other agencies, they've been treating the city like it's Fallujah 2004 or something. This is from the Chicago Sun-Times. Quote, armed federal agents in military fatigues busted down their doors overnight, pulling men, women, and children from their apartments in Chicago, some of them naked, residents and witnesses said. Agents approached her.
So this is what I was telling you guys earlier at the start of the video. ICE is going around and assaulting children. They're forcing children to walk out of their apartments naked in the middle of the street, handcuffing them. What happens to people like that historically? What happens to people who do that when they're out of power? There needs to be an American Nuremberg where not just the president, the fascist, not just the sycophants in his regime, not just Stephen Miller, not just Pam Bondi, not just Kristi Noem, not just Marco Rubio, not just them, not just JD Vance, not just Elon Musk, not just them, but every ICE thug, every fascist criminal who abused a child, who murdered a civilian, who murdered an innocent human, who deprived people of their constitutional rights, every single one of them needs to be held to account for what they've done. There's a reason they hide their faces.
Entered nearly every apartment in this 5-story building. U.S. citizens were among those detained for hours. The next day, toys, shoes.
Hear that? They're attacking citizens. They're attacking U.S. citizens. The military is being used against U.S. citizens. Fucking children.
And food were still in piles in the building's hallways. Property managers were seen throwing mattresses and broken doors into dumpsters. Neighbors said federal agents used flashbang grenades to burst through the building, and several drones and helicopters were deployed. One woman who lives across the street said it looked like hundreds of agents were out.
Yeah, they jumped out of a fucking Black Hawk during this.
Outside her door. She said she saw agents dragging residents, including kids.
Or something like that. I'll fact check that. I'm pretty sure that was part of the story.
Out of the building without any clothes on. And into U-Haul vans. Kids were separated from their mothers. This is from the Associated Press. Agents used unmarked trucks and a helicopter to surround this 5-story apartment building in Chicago. News Nation, which was invited to observe the operation, reported that agents, quote, repelled from Black Hawk helicopters.
Yeah,
Agents then
there
went
you
door
go.
to door, woke up residents, and used zip ties to restrain them. Again, keep in mind, this is before the military gets there. This is just what Trump's federal agents are doing in Chicago. Calling in the Black Hawk helicopters to raid a residential apartment building. And then zip tying all the kids and the old people and breaking down all the doors and ransacking all the apartments. I mean, this is what they're doing to the American people in Chicago already, before they send in federal troops. This is just federal agents. Trump is trying to deploy federalized National Guard to Chicago against the wishes of the mayor and the governor. Again, we're going to talk with Governor Pritzker about the lawsuit that he's brought to try to stop that deployment when we speak with him in just a moment. Another lawsuit has been brought by a group of journalists and Chicago residents to try to stop federal agents in Chicago from infringing on people's rights to protest and on journalists' right to report on protests.
Yeah, because they've been firing, not lethal rounds yet, but they've been firing on journalists. Smoke grenades, with tear gas.
As part of that lawsuit,
there's multiple videos of a reporter not even looking in the same direction, with not armed, no weapon, nothing, just reporting, and an ICE fascist thug will point his gun at her and shoot her in the face with a pepper ball or something. It's fucking ridiculous.
The plaintiffs included some.
You guys will. The first time that happened, it's the thumbnail on my Los Angeles video on this channel.
Video exhibits about how federal agents have been behaving in Chicago already. Again, before troops even get there. I want to show you 2 of those video exhibits that have been filed as part of this lawsuit. I'm going to show you 2 of them that depict attacks by Trump's federal agents on a priest, on a minister. Here's the first one. This is just about 20 seconds. Watch.
And you know what? Hey, anyone who's watched this channel for long enough knows I'm very much an atheist, very much not a fan of religion. But I will say that the members of the clergy, priests, whatever, religious figures who are right now standing up for human rights and standing up against this, they're the good ones, okay? I'll say that. You know, like, there needs to be solidarity between all people, whether you're religious or not, with what's going on here. And props to them. I'm happy this isn't Nazi Germany where the Catholic Church is just lockstep behind him, you know?
You see them spray the minister in the face with chemical spray of some kind. He falls to his knees. In this next exhibit from the lawsuit, you will see Trump's agents shoot the minister with some kind of less than lethal munition. They shoot him in the head. This is about 15 seconds long. You'll see the minister praying. He's standing alone. Beginning of the tape here, he's standing, praying with his hands raised. Watch.
This is the world built by Christian nationalists, by the way. This is the world that Charlie Kirk built. The assholes behind Project 2025 built. This is what Christian nationalism actually looks like. It looks like people firing on priests when they don't agree with them.
He's a priest. He's a Presbyterian minister.
Just a few clips for you guys tonight of that. You know, and that's why this is so important. It's so important, No Kings, that you go out there Saturday, October 18th. Find one near you. Look at this. All over this fucking country, everywhere. You guys know I'm down here in LA. There's like, within 50 miles of me, there's like 20 different ones. But all over. There's some in Canada here. There's some in Europe here. So just find one near you and go to it. Even if it's just for a few minutes, just go walk around, see what it's like. If you've never done a protest before, I hadn't, you know, I had way before, but in a very long time, I hadn't gone to a protest before the first No Kings Day in June. And I'm very happy I did. And it's our responsibility as Americans, as people who care about liberal rights and human rights, who care about the First Amendment, who want to resist this. This is one of the ways you actually can. Together, you can be part of something very powerful here. You really could be. And it's important to do that. So I know I sound like a broken record, and this is like the 100th time I've said it within these last like 15 minutes or whatever, but I just want to impress on you how critical it is. It's critical that you do this, and it's critical also. The other thing is that if you live in a state where there's an election next month, like California, like New York, like New Jersey, like Virginia, it's important that you vote. Right now, we're way up in the polls in most of them. In California, the State Measure 50, which is the redistricting, the temporary redistricting to combat the seats that were stolen by the fascists in Texas, is on the ballot. Right now, we're up like 51 to 34 there by 17 points. In Virginia, the governor's race there, the Democratic nominee is way up over the Republican nominee. In New York, Mamdani for the New York mayoral election is way up over the Trump-backed candidate Andrew Cuomo. So it's important to get out and vote. Don't let this happen. Two very important things you can do. You can protest and you can vote. It's never been more important in your lifetime, probably, to go do that. All right. So thanks, guys, for, hanging out and going through my spiel here on all the stuff that I'm, having anxiety about this week. But as I promised, we're going to have a little bit of fun here before I end the video. This is Lord of Patriarchy. And when I say this is the most pathetic MAGA incel that I've ever seen, I'm not exaggerating. I haven't seen this video yet. It's called Leftists Everywhere Are Finally Going to Fuck Around, Find Out, including Stephen King. So this is relevant because the Stephen King thing here comes up in the Charlie Kirk video that I'm working on, which again should be out in a couple weeks here. It's the first episode of the series I'm working on. But yeah, so just to give you guys the rundown, Stephen King, a year or two ago, I guess, tweeted that clip of Charlie Kirk saying that gay people should be stoned. In the actual clip, just to give you context, maybe chat can help me out here. Was it Mother Rachel? Who was the like YouTuber, children's YouTuber who does like all the kid shit? Was that Mother Rachel? I think. Miss Rachel. Thank you. Thanks, guys. Miss Rachel went on and said some shit like, hey, we should treat everyone with respect in the, and love your neighbor because I'm a Christian and we should do that. And Charlie Kirk said, well, in the very next chapter of the Bible, God says we should stone gay people to death. And then Stephen King took that and said, Charlie Kirk said that stoning gay people to death is good and that's what we should do. Now, in both of those things, context is lacking because that's not all Charlie Kirk said. He said that in the Bible it says to do that, but then he also says that that's God's perfect law. He says that God's perfect law is to stone gay people to death. So unless you think Charlie Kirk, a Christian who constantly advocates for people being Christians and following God's perfect law, if you think that in that very one instance he was trying to insinuate that we shouldn't follow God's perfect law, then maybe you can stretch it and make a case that he wasn't advocating for stoning gay people. But in my opinion, he absolutely was saying that that's what we should do. Like, that would be we should follow God's perfect law, which is to stone gay people. That is going to be, again, in the Charlie Kirk video, we go over that in detail. There's a whole segment where we look at some of the more infamous things Charlie Kirk has said or been accused of saying and try to find the truth of it. Later on in that video, he goes on to say that, if someone's a drug addict, then we would help them get clean, kind of implying that he supports conversion therapy. So if he isn't advocating for us murdering gay people, and again, I'm gay, I'm sure you all know that by now, if you watch the channel, if he isn't advocating for that, he's advocating that we traumatize gay people with conversion therapy, many of which are children who are forced to go there against their will and who end up killing themselves. So yeah, fuck him either way. He's a piece of shit. And Stephen King was wrong to come out and say, actually, he didn't advocate for that. But we're going to watch Lord of Patriarchy, who I see is not doing so good with the views here recently. We're going to take a look and see what he has to say.
Well, it seems
You guys might remember him from the DP days as like the clock dude with all the like clocks on his wall. Also, if you watch Actual Jake, he's one of his main antagonists, I guess.
Left is finally getting FAFO consequences. All across the board from MSNBC.
I see that he's already drunk in this one. We're going to do time and a half because I have to be true to myself.
See news people, to comic book writers, to a lot of people, they're getting fired left and right when they go on social media or YouTube or whatever and celebrate the fact that Charlie Kirk was brutally murdered. And I'm going to share a sentiment.
And I say this in the video, but just to give you my Charlie Kirk statement here, I don't think political assassinations are a good thing. And I don't think Charlie Kirk should have been murdered. Okay? That being said, the world is a better place without him. Okay? And I don't really care. Bear attacks are a tragedy, but if like a rapist gets eaten by a bear, it's kind of less of a tragedy, And that's how I look at it. The video is really going to go into like how, like the aftermath of the assassination and how it is going to affect us. That's what the bulk of the video is concerned with. But, I do also give my opinions on Charlie Kirk and the assassination, and we take our time and go through what his politics actually were, refute them, and all that. So I hope you guys will enjoy that.
It is just in this analysis. So I'm not trying to be ghoulish or anything. And trust me, if I'll get to it. Stephen King, even he's not immune to it. He basically...
For those of you who can't tell or don't remember, Lord of Patriarchy is like an anti-woman YouTuber, I guess is the best way I can put it. I've mostly seen him like interact with Actual Jake and Actual Jake's girlfriend or wife, I'm not sure, on stream before, and it's very clear that this man is a pathological lying incel who is just completely insecure, lives with his mom, gets drunk all day, it seems, pretty ridiculous failure of a person.
Wrote a pretty shitty post. If you don't know, ever since the election of Donald Trump, damn near 10 years ago, King has...
He's also really mad about, like, the passage of time, which, hey, it's hard, man. The passage of time, it cuts you deep. It cuts like no other wound. But if I were him, I'd be extra mad about it, too.
Literally been spewing a bunch of TDS bullshit on Twitter. Like, I think he tweets as much as fucking Trump, his goddamn arch nemesis. I mean, I remember...
Okay, Stephen King's a writer. Donald Trump is the president. Just so false equivalency, maybe.
Reading the book, what was it, Elevation? And it's like, you have hardcore anti-gay people in Maine.
Tucker Carlson's in Maine.
First off, if two women that are lovers open up a restaurant, I don't give a shit, and I'm willing to bet about 98% of the country...
He's so progressive.
Doesn't give a shit. It's, what does your food taste like?
Yeah.
Anyway, he has since apologized on September 10th. Jesus, it was only 3 days ago. God damn. What a fucking week. Following his death, some of his more controversial quotes have gone viral, and Stephen King decided to stick his foot into shit. Jesse Waters tweeted, Charlie Kirk was not a controversial or polarizing man.
We're gonna discuss Jesse Waters later on in a video, but total psychopath.
Charlie was a patriot. I will agree with Jesse that he wasn't polarizing. He wasn't a provocateur. He wasn't...
He totally was. He was such a provocateur. His entire shtick was going to colleges and arguing with people. Like, his entire his advocacy was provocateurship, or whatever that's called. Provocative, we'll say. Like, his whole point was to be provocative. What? His entire marketing was debate me, bro. That is inherently controversial.
Or the highway, and he wasn't that extreme in his viewpoints.
He was extreme. For example, there was this one time he said that God's perfect law was to stone gay people to death, which is in the Bible, to be fair.
I will say he
terrible book.
Was controversial in what his vision of the country wanted to be, but it could never be achieved because it would fly in the face of the Constitution. If I remember correctly, Charlie Kirk would have been just fine with his country being a Christian theocracy, which again... Yeah. Good for you, Lord of Patriarchy. And Lord of Patriarchy is also an atheist, too. So he does have that one thing going for him. I guess he's not the most retarded MAGA incel that we've covered. But yeah, Charlie Kirk was a Christian nationalist who made theocratic arguments. That is covered in the video also. And violates the Constitution.
Like, there... Never mind.
Again, like I said, I could be wrong on that, but... Here's the thing. He didn't practice that. That might have been what he had in his head, but what he practiced was something completely different. To me, the way he acted was more of slightly...
Just to remind you guys, this is on Time and a Half. Fucking wild, right?
Hardcore conservative, but nothing major.
He was a slightly hardcore conservative, but nothing major. Bro, within your own context of what you're saying... You think that he's a Christian theocrat, right? Like, even at the start of this thought, you said, now I know Charlie was a Christian theocrat who wanted theocracy and shit. He was a Christian nationalist, but he wasn't that hardcore of a conservative. Yeah, so whatever.
I mean, yes, I had my issues with him wanting to bring Christianity into the government. I will wholeheartedly stand by every damn thing I said, because find me the...
I like, I see he's getting Sweetwater advertisements. That's interesting.
Clip where I said, oh, and by the way, he should be shot. I've always said I would have loved to have debated Charlie Kirk. Sadly, that is no...
Again, most people who are quote unquote celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk are not saying he should have been shot. They're not advocating for people being shot. They're saying, hey, this asshole got shot. Isn't that, like, funny? Like, that's what most of it is. Like, Charlie Kirk is someone who said, like, he supported public executions, that he wanted to see public executions, that we should make children, well, not him, I guess he didn't say that, but his co-host said, we should make children sit through public executions, force them to watch. Charlie said we should sponsor public executions with, like, fucking corporations should sponsor public executions. They should be televised nationally. He was so pro public execution and said he wanted to go to one. So it's just funny that he was publicly executed. It's like the ironic twist of fate, you know? he also said gun deaths were worth the Second Amendment. So I don't know. Like, maybe I'm not saying he deserve, like, it should, like, maybe he's the one who fucked around and found out, right? That's all I'm saying. Again, I don't condone that. We are against violence. Don't do violence.
No longer possible. Anyway, he advocated stoning gays to death, just saying. No, he didn't. And I can prove
Yeah,
this.
he did.
I mean, unless...
He kind of did. It would be like if I said God's perfect law is to shoot people in the neck, but that doesn't mean you should go do it. That's just what God's perfect law. Remember, he's always right. He's all powerful and he knows everything. And he says you should do it. He's also the ultimate barometer of good. By definition, he's good. And whatever he says is right. But don't do what he says. Right? That would be like, see how it's kind of ridiculous and not really true? Anyways.
Unless he was playing 93-degree chess. I don't get this. Anyway, he apologized after being heavily criticized online, including up to the...
Sad. I know, sad. It's sad. Stephen King should not have apologized for
owner
this.
of X, Elon Musk. And honestly, I'm shocked Elon didn't take his fucking account away, but I guess he apologized.
Any other Stephen King fans? I want everyone in the comments put what your favorite Stephen King book is.
Quick enough.
Mine's probably The Shining, honestly. The Shining. I feel like The Shining is his most successful attempt at like horror, but it is pretty good too. Yeah, I like it. I haven't read Misery. I need to. Yeah.
Ted Cruz.
I've read Carrie, Salem's Lot, The Shining, The Stand, It, Pet Sematary, The Gunslinger, the first Dark Tower book. I think that's it.
Replied saying you're a horrible, evil, twisted liar. No, he did not. Your party, which you shamelessly shilled for, sent $100 billion to the Ayatollah, who does routinely murder homosexuals.
Maybe.
This is why I find queers in Palestine.
Sorry, they can't, like, the video. People watching this can't even see what I'm responding to.
Or gays for Palestine, or anybody in the Libiquita community supporting Palestine as odd, because if you were a member of that in a Sharia country, you'd be killed.
Right. So again, as a gay who thinks that genocide is wrong. It's possible to have a culture that is homophobic and that believes in killing people for homosexuality. Obviously, that's wrong, and that's a crime against humanity. And anyone who actually does that should in turn be dealt justice. Obviously, I believe that. That's a separate issue from whether I think children should be genocided. Like, just because your parents are homophobic, that doesn't mean you're homophobic. Just because your parents are this or that doesn't mean their sins transfer onto children who have nothing to fucking do with that. That's how you answer that question. Like it's impossible. I guess it's not impossible, but it's inconsistent to both believe in gay rights and equity under the law. And to also believe in like that genocide is okay. Like, that's inconsistent, right? The same liberal values that make you say, hey, gay people have a right to exist and should have proper representation and be an equal member of society and have every right that everyone else does. That same ethic, that same liberal principle also leads you to believe like, hey, human rights are important. And it's important that we not starve children to death or bomb them or, we not commit genocide against people who have nothing to do with anything. Like, that's also important. Both of those are consistent. You can't have one of those views and not the other and be a consistent person.
Why are you so dishonest with hate? Dave Rubin. I don't know if I consider him a conservative or not. Hey, Stephen King, you're more monstrous than any characters you ever came up with. Charlie was never anything but kind to me and my husband. Broke bread many times.
Dave Rubin, Dave Rubin celebrated Paul Pelosi being bashed with a hammer. So he's a complete hypocrite. Dave Rubin loves political violence. He celebrates political violence. He advocates for more political violence. He's just a grifter. You all know that. You all know Dave Rubin is like the world's biggest grifter, but he's for sure here just trying to, like every other person in Charlie Kirk's life or who even knew about him, who's on the right, they're trying to use his corpse for marketing. It's what they've all been doing, like the fucking vulture parasites they are. And this is just more of that. Dave Rubin's fake outrage here.
never treated us with anything other than respect. He came to our house not too long ago. Plot twist, didn't throw rocks.
Right. So advocating that the law should be changed to do something is not inconsistent with you personally not doing it, right? Like, hey, I think it should be legal to smash people's windshields just when I feel like it with a crowbar, but I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid of going to jail, right? Like, there's that, right? Like, there's that aspect of it. Like, you don't do everything you advocate legally for changing, right? And also, there's the aspect that, like, he doesn't actually give a shit about the Bible or think that people should be stoned to death. He's just doing a dog whistle. There's that, too. So maybe he's just a hypocrite.
Again. On September 12th,
This is Stephen King. I apologize. This is 2X, by the way. I apologize for saying Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages. Right. He did both, actually. He did both of those things.
Charlie Kirk advocated stoning gays. What he actually demonstrated was how some people cherry pick biblical passages. And then this didn't help. The horrible evil twisted
Ted
line,
Cruz,
this is what I get for reading.
Another grifter. I wonder what Ted Cruz's voting record is on gun regulation, on mental health, right? Is Ted Cruz, do you think he's one of those people in Congress who's holding out on funding the government because he thinks that people should have more healthcare, more access to healthcare, right? Does he think that healthcare should include mental health? Do you think he thinks that we should have stronger mental health, right? Or no, you don't think so? I don't know.
Reading something.
This is the world Ted Cruz built, where people get gunned down in the streets.
On Twitter without fact checking won't happen again. Yeah, but Charlie Kirk was responding to other cherry-picked Bible verses. And this is the problem. This is why I hate biblical arguments. Because the Bible is all fucking over the place.
He's right. Good for you, Lord of Patriarchy. You're right. He's based on the Bible for some reason.
Again, Leviticus 18:22 is what the conservative Christians...
I think it's because he's like 40 and not like 30. Like if he had grown up 10 years like later, he would be a Christian nationalist. Like he would have gotten scooped up by like Andrew Tate and not TJ Kirk, you know?
Love to argue, but again, it's gender specific. Because women are mentioned in Leviticus in terms of sexual relations.
He'd be a groiper if he were like 10 years younger. He would have been a groiper if the anti-SJWs hadn't gotten him first during his formative late 20s or whatever that was.
They can't do is fuck the family dog. Outside of that, if two women want to go down on one another, that's just fine. God loves the lesbians, which almost makes me want to believe in him. Anyway, he basically apologized.
Just so you guys know, he's so straight that he's cool with lesbians and he thinks it's hot.
And the clip is from Miss Rachel. I don't know why she's making this video because her content is for toddlers and babies who don't have a sexuality yet.
Okay, first of all, kids... God damn it. Fuck. Your sexuality is forming even before you experience it, really, right? That's part one. Part two is that kids sometimes grow up knowing gay people and seeing bigotry against gay people, right? Like, for example, a toddler may have two dads, and then she's saying, like, hey, all your toddler friends, treat them okay because it's normal, and God says we should treat everyone the same. So that's probably why, idiot.
With the whole love thy neighbor thing. And then Charlie said Leviticus 18, basically go be stoned to death. Conveniently forgetting that Leviticus also calls for the death of people that work on the Sabbath, the death of people that plant seeds of two crops next to each other, those that eat
those who sew mixed fabrics.
Products of that, aka things like cantaloupe, anybody who wears a cloth of two threads, which Charlie Kirk has been seen many times in suits.
Man, TJ really did do the Lord's work in the late 2000s, huh? Teaching all these guys all like the shit in Leviticus, so they know. Like, wait a second, now I know to regurgitate all the things in Leviticus that are illegal whenever someone talks about stoning gay people. It's like, yep.
And
credit to that, at least. You know, he did a good job with that.
So that would fall under that.
I'm happy that happened.
Leviticus, or the Bible also allows Charlie Kirk to sell me, or would have allowed Charlie Kirk the ability to sell me his daughter into slavery. Or at least be my personal slave. Yeah, it says a lot of stuff that we ignore. But here's the real truth of the matter for anyone that is thinking that Charlie Kirk was some anti-gay bigot that wanted anyone that liked to sleep with a member of their own gender into, like, I don't know, camps or something, then why the fuck did, at his big event of the year, did he give a platform?
Is that Budweiser?
Jillian Michaels, who is married to a...
He drinks like shitty beer too. What? Because, bro, he's going to say, well, why did he let Jillian Michaels, who, by the way, if you don't know who Jillian Michaels is, like, there's a whole deep dive. The second video in the series I'm working on goes into like more Young Turk shit, and Jillian Michaels makes a couple appearances towards the end of that in like Anna's arc towards rightism. So you guys will learn a little bit more about her in the coming weeks.
A woman allowed her to speak on his stage at his big event. Anybody?
If he doesn't think gays should be killed, then why would he let a lesbian be a useful idiot for that agenda? I don't know, man.
He invited Tim Pool. Tim Pool is a lot more closer aligned with me than I am with Charlie Kirk.
Is he? Average Tim Pool fan here, I guess.
And Charlie Kirk...
I don't meet a lot of people saying they're Tim Pool fans in 2025.
Went out of his way to make sure Tim Pool could do the shit he needed to do. He built him a fucking studio because Tim wasn't going to do it because he had Timcast Live or some damn show. And he's like, well, look, if I do this, I can't do this, and that hurt my brand. He's like, I'll build you the studio. All Charlie wanted to fucking do...
Why would Tim Pool help him out if fucking... he's a... mean, because maybe you're and this guy have the same agenda and you don't even realize it, dipshit.
Talk to as many people as possible, and quite frankly, talk to as many people that disagreed with him as possible. Charlie wasn't this, again, I do think in his heart of hearts, he wanted a Christian theocracy. I don't know if he would have gone so far as to outlawing homosexual behavior or...
but it's God's perfect law. Okay. Holy shit. I'm going to lay out a very simple, logical, process for you guys. Part 1, we should do good. Part 2, anything God says to do is good. Part 3, what is the conclusion of that? If we should do good and everything God says to do is good, what does that sound like? What does that mean? Just help me out here, guys. We should do good, right? We should do X, and Y is X, therefore we should do Y. You guys understand little transitive property there? Just want to make sure. We should do X. X is Y, therefore we should do Y. Just want to make sure you guys all get that, okay?
Getting rid of gay marriage? That I don't know. If he doesn't want to recognize that that's his business, but that's different than what you want to do legally.
No, that is illegal. Like, recognizing marriage is a legal thing. What?
But there's no evidence of it. And the fact that he was willing to have dinner with gay people, platform gay people, talk to them, go on their shows, and go on to several shows where he was going against somebody that despised him. Yeah, I'm sorry, but King, you need to get over your fucking TDS. Okay.
Oh, okay. Again, useful idiots are called that for a reason because they're useful and you can use them.
Okay.
And every single person in the world right now should have TDS, just to be clear.
Get the fuck over your TDS. Oh, and also with guns, Mr. King, this is the last thing I'm going to do. It's just a parting shot to you. Yeah, the rest of us need guns. Like you hired a private security firm after some lunatic broke into your house, stripped himself naked, told your terrified wife when she found him in the kitchen that there was a bomb and they were all going to die. You remember that?
Uh-huh.
I seem to remember you hired a shit ton.
Did that happen? I don't remember that part of the lore. That must have been more recent than him getting hit by a truck.
Of armed security over that.
But yeah, no shit. What is that? Wait.
Guess what? I don't blame you. But maybe, Mr. King, buy a gun yourself.
What? How do you know he doesn't have a gun? Wait. If you're concerned about someone breaking into your house, you can do what like all of us poor people do and buy a gun for self-defense. Or if you're rich, you can also have a security team so that you don't have to spend every day of your life on guard, right? Like you can sleep and not worry about it, right? I don't know. Stupid. I don't see how those two things are contradictory. He could very well have a gun.
Anyway, that wraps up this one. I will see you.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I know it's the first video in a long time. At some point, we are going to bring back React stuff like this, but I really, I just really care about the video essays I'm working on right now. And I feel like it's a new, level of content that I'm really excited about. So it's going to take time. It's a very long process. There's a lot that goes into it, but, you know, I'm excited for you guys to see those. But eventually I will bring back more of this kind of shit, you know, once I get through that. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all have a good night. I've missed you all, and see you in a couple weeks then.